So despite the fact that I have seen all of the Ant Man movies, I love Ant Man. Is it because he's played by Paul Rudd, the charming, charismatic, and sexy Paul Rudd? Yes, it's mostly Paul Rudd related. I mean, how could it not be? But I also love the gimmick of Ant-Man. I love a regular sized man who's like, sometimes I get small, I'm a little man, Ant-Man. But I also love the fact that little Ant-Man can sometimes go from regular man, not just small, but big. He gets big man. But now that Ant Man's trilogy has come to an end and it has been several weeks, I thought it was the perfect time to do a rankings video. Should I have done it the day after I saw the movie because I saw it opening day, an advanced screening the day before opening day? I could have got this out in a timely fashion, a timely manner, but no. I didn't want to because I just didn't want to think about Ant-Man. And usually in these kind of videos, people like to be like, hey, this is just my opinion. This is just subjective. I want to point out to everybody watching that this isn't subjective. This is objective truth. This is the definitive ranking of the Ant-Man films. Once I say what is number 3, 2, then 1, it's over. Like, you have to agree with me or you're wrong, because art isn't subjective. Art is like what I think it is, and that's a fact, and I'm putting my foot down like some kind of conqueror. I understand my mistake. I said the word conqueror, suddenly you're like Kang the Conqueror. As soon as I said that, I realized I had made a mistake. I was having flashbacks, PTSD, to that post-credit scene that feels more like an SNL sketch of a Marvel post-credit scene than a Marvel post-credit scene where all the Kangs are running about and they're laughing and they're in a big stadium and they're all hooting and hollering and screaming and cheering like they're at a football game, and it's just like, what's the tone of this? What? Which leads me perfectly into number 3, Ant Man and the Wasp Quantamania. This movie is bad. It's bad on all levels. It's the worst of the Ant Man films. It takes everything we love about Ant Man and Ant Man and the Wasp, the first 2 films, and it strips it away. All the real locations, all the real world situations where he gets little and small, and you're like, oh, I like that because the car's small, and I've been on a road and I know what it's like to be a regular man on a road in a car, and imagine if a little toy car was small, and then it went big. I know what a Pez dispenser is. Make it big, I'm like, man, that difference of size is like, oh. Quantumania has a scene where Ant-Man and girl Ant-Man, or the third Wasp, whatever you want to call her, I don't know, they weren't very clear, and they're both like big, and he's like, oh, it's like we're both Godzillas or something, and they hug, and you're like, so they're big right now. I don't get that visually. Did the VFX not see the dialogue? Did they not get the script? Was the dialogue not done with the... What's going on? Why is it... And that is one of... I just want to say, like, oh, I want to lowball it so I don't like overshoot myself, but I want to say that's one of 43 reasons why the movie is bad. It's just, it's bad on every level. Kang's the best bit, and Kang's not good. Every single Avenger in their third movie has something stripped away from them, have something fundamental to their character ripped away. Iron Man in his suit, Captain America and the Avengers, Thor and his sexy, beautiful long hair, and Spider-Man and his aunt and the fact he couldn't get into college, which is so very important for Spider-Man for some reason. Ant-Man loses top billing. That's it. Number 3. Ant-Man and the Wasp. The reason Ant-Man and the Wasp is also the third worst Ant-Man movie is because it's just kind of bland and boring. Yes, it's delightful to see Kate from Lost fly about as a wasp superhero, which we didn't get in the first movie, and she's running about and she's got the wings and she's got the guns. And then there's that scene where Ant-Man, Paul Rudd himself, is like, hey, why does she get the wings and the guns? And her dad, his father-in-law, maybe, who's to say, we'll see, maybe they'll get together, maybe they won't. I'm hoping they do, because those two people are sexy. And then her dad is like, because I hate you and you're not allowed to have wings and guns. You know, they do some kind of funny bits. I'm trying to think of good things. You know what? Actually, the best part of the movie is the fact that Paul Rudd learns to do magic. He's like, whatcha, magic card, you do what? And they're all like all the adults are just kind of like bewildered and baffled by like how amazing his magic is. I like that bit, like that running reoccurring gag. It's funny, it's good. I'm trying to think of other things that are good in this movie. Ooh, it's so bland and just, it's like, it's unoffensive. It's like nice to watch. But this is gonna be a controversial statement, and I will stand by this to the day I die, or until I change my mind the next time I see one of these two movies. But I think Ant-Man and the Wasp is worse than Thor: The Dark World. That's right, Thor 2: The Dark World, everyone's least favorite Marvel movie, which it absolutely doesn't deserve that hate. It's like, it gets treated like it's the M. Night Shyamalan of directors in Hollywood. Like, everyone just picks it as the punching bag of the MCU and just decides, that's the worst one. Have you seen it recently? It's fantastic! Thor 2's great! Thor and Loki are doing a thing. Loki's all like, I'm a Loki, I chopped off Thor's hand. Or did I, troll? Look at me, I'm so quirky and wacky and mischievous. I wish I could think of other good things, because there are lots of good things. There's that bit where the big rock monster's like, rah, my big rock monster. Then Thor like hits him, and then the rocks fall over and he dies. And then the new Robin Hood, who I totally noticed, because I noticed those things. I didn't notice. No one noticed the recasting, but he just does such a good job. And Mr. Robin Hood's like, we should have started with the big one. I feel like when I'm saying the jokes, they do come across as cliche and cringy and bad, but in the movie it's fantastic and fun. It's just light, fluffy fun. The action's cool. There's a bit where all the ships fly into Asgard, and then bloody that guy Luthor, Stringer Bell. What's that actor's name? Idris Elba. Idris Elba's got all the armor on. He's running and he's like, rah, and he jumps on the thing, he smashes the thing, and it explodes. It's just a great movie. It's emotional, it's powerful, it's very, very funny. For some reason, The Girl from Two Broke Girls is the worst show that has ever been made, that nobody has seen, but we all saw a trailer that one time and just went, I mean, if that's the trailer, if that's the trailer, like the trailer's your best bit, you want to put in some of your best gags. Maybe not the best one, but like your second to fourth best gags. They're all in there in the trailer to get people in. And if that's just, oh my God, that must be the worst show ever made. It just looks bad. It just doesn't look very good. But somehow she is funny in this movie. There's that guy from the IT crowd, and he's like, hey, Natalie Portman, I'm really desperate because I'm a normal man and you are a goddess. Please call me back. And she's like, oh my God, how am I getting reception? I'm in the dark world or something or whatever. I feel like there are actual good bits in the movie that are like really good that I'm just blanking on because I keep finding these like really weird like reasons to talk about it. I also just suddenly realized I'm not talking about Thor: The Dark World, the most underrated MCU movie. This is a discussion about Ant Man and the Wasp. I have nothing to say about this movie. And guess what? That's why it's number 3. And that leads me into number 3. Ant-Man. Original recipe Ant-Man. The first Ant-Man. What? Ant-Man also number 3? I see the bit you're doing, you say to me, but let me say right back to you, this is justified. They are all the worst movie. Is Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp as bad as Quantamania? Absolutely not. Just absolutely not. But for the point I am making that they are all not good films, I have to just put them all into one thing. Otherwise, the point won't be clear. Like I won't be doing the bit that I'm doing. Ant-Man 1 is the best Ant-Man movie. Does that make it a good movie? Absolutely not. No. No. It is a really serviceable film, but every single second of the film that is amazing, that works, that is fun and fresh and good and all the good things, it's all like the skeleton, like the decaying, rotting skeleton bones of Edgar Wright's script. Like Ant-Man, the film that is good, is the rotting corpse of Edgar Wright, and you are seeing a decayed, deformed monster that has been picked to pieces by Kevin Feige and the MCU vultures. Whoever they are, whoever rewrote the script and made Edgar Wright like leave, if that's Kevin Feige, some MCU guy that's gone, some head exec, like, whoever it is, they're the vultures, and they pick the bones of his script and then they put on this like silicon robot from like Westworld or something's like skin over it. And I'm not even talking about the fact that Falcon is in this movie. I love Falcon. That was awesome. I love the bit where Falcon's like, guys, if anybody tells Captain America that I lost to a little Ant-Man, I'll be angry. That's good. I love it. But there's so much kind of vibrant kinetic energy that's almost there in this film. Like there's so many, like even just the way that funny guy that looks like John Leguizamo, but it's not John Leguizamo. I don't know his name. For the life of me, I just don't know his name. But John Leguizamo's funny cousin, whoever that actor, Michael Pena? I think it's Michael Pena. It doesn't matter. But he has that scene where he's like, okay, so I gotta tell a story. And then he goes like, boom, 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 boom. And like, that is just so Edgar Wright, the way it cuts, boom, boom, boom. Like, it feels like that vibrant, quick cut energy that Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, The World's End has. But it just feels like a lesser director has like tried to like mimic someone. Like, it's not like someone being inspired by Edgar Wright and going, oh, I really love this thing. I grew up loving this guy's style. And so you see that kind of influence in them. It feels like someone being like, oh, so it has a quick cut, and then it cuts to this, and cut. But it has none of that kind of kinetic, vibrant energy. Just like the energy is just lacking, and just the vision is not there. And it's someone kind of mimicking it, but also trying to keep it in that MCU like mold. And that's why I also Ant Man and the Wasp. I'm going back to that one for a second. That's why that isn't good, because it's like, okay, so now it's this guy's chance to make an Ant-Man film. What's his version of an Ant-Man film? And yes, I've forgotten the director's name, and I will not stop for this rant! It's not because I'm busy and a friend's coming over soon. No, because I am very dedicated to this I was going to say craft. This is nothing. It's me yelling into the void, and hopefully the void comments back. Maybe it likes and subscribes. Peyton Reed! Ha! I didn't even grab my phone. I went to grab it, and it just came to me. Peyton Reed. He directed the Spiders episode of The Mandalorian, season 2. Not going to say that's the worst episode of the season. Wait, no, sorry. No, I will. That's the worst episode of the season. Is that his fault? No, but did they have directors and they went, well, let's give the worst written There's Nothing episode to Peyton Reed? Because then he can't ruin it? And so that is why Ant-Man 1 is also the third worst Ant-Man movie, along with Ant-Man and the Wasp and Ant Man and the Wasp Quantamania. Even though it is clearly the best Ant-Man movie, you just gotta put them all together, because all three Ant-Man movies are the third worst Ant-Man movie. Because number 2, Avengers Endgame, is the second best Ant-Man movie that Ant-Man is in. Yep, I've changed the game. I've grabbed the board and flipped it, and now we're playing a different game or whatever. I flipped Monopoly, and the board turned over, and now it's backgammon. No, that makes no sense. I love that bit where Ant-Man rocks up, and he's like, knock, knock, it's me, Ant-Man, let's do a time travel or whatever. And they're like, all right, sounds good. I love the bit where he's like eating a taco or 2 tacos or like some amount of tacos, and then Hulk hits the tacos. Or maybe Hulk just walks past and the ship lands and the ship blows the tacos. You know what? I haven't seen the movie in quite a while, because that final battle is so brown and ugly and murky. It just doesn't, like, visually it's like, oh, I just feel like that should be the best fight of all time. It should be like the Pelennor Fields / Minas Tirith fight in Lord of the Rings, where I could just watch that scene with no context of watching the other 9 hours building up to it, and it's just gorgeous and breathtaking. There are so many different stages of it. I don't know, I guess it's just not a film that I want to revisit a lot, even though I think it totally works in so many different levels. I like the movie. I do like it, but I just haven't seen it enough to remember who blows the tacos out of Ant-Man's hands. Like, that, he's definitely got tacos at one point, and I found that very cute and cool, and I think, like, Hulk walks past, and maybe he's like, puny Ant-Man. He's like, I'm regular man right now, Hulk. Prick. And then a spaceship comes up, I think, and then he's like, is that a raccoon? And like Rocket Raccoon's like, I'm not a raccoon, even though he is a raccoon. He just doesn't realize, because he's a space raccoon who's identical to normal human raccoon, I think. Or maybe, I don't know. Hopefully with some clarification on that in Guardians 3. All I'm saying is the second best Ant-Man movie is Avengers Endgame. Mostly for the bit where he's like, knock knock, time travel or something, and they're all like, shut up, Ant-Man! And then Tony Stark's like, actually, the man who's an ant, he saved the whole world. And thank God everybody appreciated him for the rest of time. Thank God that his own daughter, who was cute and adorable and amazing in the first 2 movies, thank God she didn't turn into an absolute just monster of a woman who couldn't let her father, who saved the entire universe, and without him coming out of the quantum realm and being like something time travel and sparking the thoughts into Mr. Iron Man himself, like, he can't, like, just thank God she's not angry that he's just putting his feet up and enjoying some time, well earned, because he saved the universe. Thank God that didn't happen. Goddamn Quantumania. And now we have finally come to it, the best Ant-Man movie. Number 1. Captain America Civil War. This is easily the best appearance from Ant-Man. It is just so spectacular. They get the honor and the privilege of revealing to the world Giant Man. And because I am a certain type of nerd, a movie nerd, a TV show nerd, I like the things on the screen with the colors and the lights flashing. I like the combination of music and sound and actors and sexy people doing things. I don't really read the comics that much, and if they do, it's mostly just Batman. Like, if I'm being honest, it's just Batman. It's just entirely Batman. So I've never read an Ant Man comic. I actually was not aware he could go big. It really blew me away. Like the bit where he's like, I got something going. I'm going to do something crazy. And they're like, he's going to do something crazy. That's pretty cool. And then he gets really big and he's like, I'm big. And everyone's like, what? He's big man now. Ant-Man's big man. That's crazy. That is like the best scene in the MCU. It's just got so much going on. You just look at the Spider-Man stuff, it's perfect. Just look at the Ant-Man stuff, it's perfect. I just love the bits where he does the little thing, and he's on that little thing, and he does the thing, and then he's like, Captain America, I've got your shield, hoppity hoo and ha. It's just like, oh, it's so good. Ant-Man works best when he's just interacting with all the big hitters, the big boys, your Captain Americas, your Iron Mans, your third character, whatever his name is, I don't know. Who's the third guy in that movie? I guess it's Bucky? I don't know. I just like seeing Ant-Man interact with everyone. He's funny, he's quippy, he's light-hearted. It's peak Ant-Man / big man. It's got everything I want to see, which is Paul Rudd being funny. Like at the bit where he's all big and he's like, oh, I'm tired, oh, I'm a big tired man. He falls over and then he's like, get the helmet, goes, whoosh, and the actor's back, and he's like, hey, I'm Paul Rudd. These are the 5 seconds I filmed on set. But it's probably actually not on set now I think about it, because it's a close-up. So, like, Paul Rudd in his garage with the green screen behind him, and he falls on it, and he's like, does anybody have some orange slices? So that is that is the definitive, objective rankings of the Ant-Man films that he appears in. The films that he appears in. Not his films necessarily, but the films that he appears in.